Okay, it is the 21st of October, it's Sunday, and we're going to make another Bitcoin price video. Here we will look at the past week, what has been happening, what has been going on with the Bitcoin price, where we are long term, and where we can look at for guidance for this upcoming week so that we're all ready to get trading tomorrow. And as always, I want to make sure to tell you guys that this is not financial advice. This is just me sharing my personal thoughts on the market and the analysis that I will use myself. You have to make your own investment decisions, and those decisions are always associated with risk. Of course, you might lose money, you might win money. That is the way of the market. I thought we would start as usual with the long-term view, where you can see I have the Bitcoin price since April of last year. And this is familiar to many of you. And what really has happened this week is that we've continued to move into this deeper into this triangle here that has been developing since since May 2018. And we can see that the volatility in these movements are starting to go lower, as they should, because as we are approaching the end of the triangle here, we're expecting to see smaller and smaller movements, and the fact is that we're still making lower tops every single time we top out this triangle. We're making lower and lower tops, so that tells us that we should probably continue in that trend of moving up and testing this resistance level at the top of the triangle. We can also see, if we look at the long-term view, that we have our moving average here, the MA200, and we have been below our moving average from May and forwards as well, and we still are below our moving average. So that also tells us that we're still in a very bearish sentiment, and until we can break out of the triangle and break above our moving average, the long-term view is still downhill. Because if we look back here, we can see, of course, that we have been above the moving average for a very long time. When we saw this upwards movement, we can go back all the way into 2016. We've been above the moving average for all of this time. We bounced off the moving average, bounced off the moving average. We continued here, of course, to move exponentially way above the moving average. But once we come down here in May 2018, we continue to stay below the moving average, going down. But the support level of 6,000 has always been of great support, and we saw that this week as well when we bounced off the bottom of the triangle here at around 6,000. And what's also interesting here, and what makes it really difficult, is that we have our VPOC right here at 6,400, which is pretty much dead in the center of where we are now. We're almost exactly at the volume point of control, all the back from mid-September all the way through these huge movements. We are at the point where all this volume has been very intense. So a lot of people have taken their bets at this level right here. So a lot of people are waiting on excitement on how this move is going to end, because no one knows if we're going to break out above the triangle or below the triangle. But once we do either of those, we can be sure that the move is going to be quick, it's going to be big. And that's why, since we are in such a uncertain times here at the middle of the volume point of control, we have to just take it step by step, day by day, and work with the situation that we have at hand. So now if we move into the shorter time frame, so I thought we'll look at the 1 hour time frame here, and let's just get ready here. And we have the volume profiles here for the 1 hour sessions as well. And here are our big trend lines coming from this huge triangle that we saw previously. And what happened here is that we bottomed out in the triangle here on the 10th of October and the 11th of October. And then we had the sideways movements here. But as you probably know, we had this huge move, this huge unexpected move here on the 15th. And probably many of you already know that that was because of Tether. We had a a more or less of a small crash in Tether, where the value of this so-called stablecoin didn't really hold up. And since Bitfinex and probably some other exchanges as well price their Bitcoin in Tether, we saw a very large spike in the Bitcoin price compared to Tether USD, right? But that doesn't mean that it was any significant or real move in Bitcoin US dollar, if you talk about real US dollar. So it's very difficult to say if this move, what caused it, and how much value we should put into it. I happen to believe that we maybe shouldn't put too much value on this huge move. There was very little volume exchanged during these spikes here, so not really a lot of people has been buying or selling there. It was more or less a panic in terms of Tether crashing. So I will continue to treat these VPOCs here as, I don't know, semi-naked, and hopefully we're going to continue and move and touch these naked VPOCs here that I almost view as continuing above this line here, because so little volume was exchanged up here. It really is too early to say if those really has been treated by the market. But since we touched the bottom of the triangle here, which is a very precise move, we continued to move sideways until this huge move came here. But it looks like we're moving to the top of the triangle once again, even though these moves are getting smaller and smaller. So as long as we can continue this trend and that we don't break out of this steady trend upwards, I would bet my money on taking out these naked VPOCs here on 6,600 and 6,700, and then moving to the top of the triangle once again. Since we have just been bottoming out, we will be moving to the top of the triangle just like we saw last time here. We're moving to the top of the triangle. Doesn't mean we'll hit it at its absolute peak. The moves are getting smaller and smaller, and the tops are getting lower and lower. So it might be the case that we top out around the previous tops here, and then we continue downwards once again. But I think we're going to test these VPOCs here, unless we have a steady and sure breakout of the VWAP here, this white line. And this area here at the top of the triangle is also very interesting, because our moving average on the long term is also converging at around the same place here, around $7,000. So it really is an interesting area for the Bitcoin price, and we can only wait and see what happens. But as I said, if we can continue to first take this naked VPOC here and then continue upwards, we can expect to hit the top of the triangle somewhere around this area between $6,700 and $6,900. If we, however, have a clear breakdown from our VWAP, I would expect us to test the bottom of the triangle again, and then we'll see what will happen. And first of all, we'll probably make a stop here around 6,200 to test out these VPOCs once again. And we'll see how that goes once we reach these levels here around 6,200, if that's the case. But that was all I had to say today. I will be looking at this analysis when I do the trading of the week, and I hope that you got something out of it. I want to wish you the best of luck with your trading, and I will see you guys here again very, very soon.